this team and Bungie in general is all about collaboration. Testers, designers, effects artists, animation, all these sources of input from everywhere coming together, and like that was magic for me.
The final shape, it felt a little like a love letter at times. We really thought about bringing that forward to the weapons. Like Kvostov, it's the first gun you get. There has to be the narrative bookends of the first gun I got in the game. It's here in the Pale Heart. It's like this old friend returned. How do you make this thing really good and really powerful without making it not what it is? And that was really challenging. What we ended up deciding on is it is about your skill. Oh, it's all in the wrist. A little like it's gonna bounce several times down this line of guys. You're just really good at bouncing this bullet. It's fate almost. This thing's dope. Help! Yeah. And we pepper in the number 7 in as many places as we could. So it bounces 7 times. It's got a bunch of 7s in its stat. You get 7 bouncy bullets when you pick up an Orb of Power. Bungie has a long legacy of loving the number 7, and this felt like the right place for it. Cade has this iconic hand cannon that in a lot of ways has become a symbol. We took Ace of Spades and we went, where's the rest of the deck of cards? We had this really cool opportunity to theme all the Pale Heart weapons after different suits.
Awesome. It has this two-tone feel to it. The opposite side of the gun is the inverse of that idea. They look freaking awesome. It also has like these fantasies of characters that have influenced Cade. These guns are part of his past.
We wanted something that you can't do with any of your other weapons, and we came up with no hesitation. It shoots these harmonic bullets that if you're targeting an enemy, it'll hurt them and burn them, but if you're shooting an ally, it'll heal them.
I love this thing.
Oh, I'm so glad. We had to build a lot of the language, and with the new cool little Guardian health bars,
whole new archetype,
you can
guys.
see that. The healing effect on it is very strong. For a while, we were calling it the Just Don't Die gun. It has its own little energy bar, like the glaive does, and that energy bar is charged by any damage whatsoever. It's like, we know what we did.
Since you are returning to the Traveler, we wanted to focus on bringing new supers to the light subclasses.
For Song of Flame, we wanted to plus up Radiance from Destiny 1 and have it be combat focused.
If you remember, Radiance from D1 has fire wings. We kind of ate that visual space with Dawnblade, where you've got these like awesome flame wings. In a split second, if a player sees a character solar with wings, they're going to see that it's Dawnblade. We had to come up with something different.
Zach, our VFX artist, came up with the idea of this halo around you, like a medieval painting.
Twilight Arsenal is a one-off super that also creates these axes. Coming up with visuals for that axe, it was an interesting challenge. How do we want to root this in Destiny? We took a lot of inspiration from Titan's shield. What would it feel like if the axe was the shield broken up? And when you look at it side by side, you can definitely see that connection between the two.
Holy hell. Yeah, it does. It does. The shield broken up.
We wanted to call back to Arcblade in Destiny 1, throwing the dagger and zipping over there, blowing up stuff. How long do you have in the super? Initially, you had a long time. Yeah,
24 seconds. We did not earn any friends in those places.
No, people were pretty mad. But we toned it down, and now you only have 12 seconds, and it's a lot more reasonable.
We found a problem where when you grapple and then you cast Blink Dagger out of it, I fall to the floor. Right? Whereas if I'm in midair and I Blink Dagger, I should be held in midair, right? And it sucks. So I want to fix it.
It's the things like the camera shake, the way the rumble spikes and then falls back off. We need all of our abilities to feel awesome.
We want to make it so that the controller melts away. You stop thinking about, what do I have to do? And instead you just inhabit your character and you don't have to think about it. The game just plays.
The great thing about Prismatic was every playtest we did, the feedback got better and better. We have gone back and forth on what starter builds that players will get in Mission 1.
Okay, we're going to start the Titans with Stringer's Lash, their strand aspect, and Knockout. One of the notes we got is players just weren't understanding how those two things comboed in a loop. Well, we're going to drop Dranger's Lash, and instead we're going to put in Diamond Lance. Now, any ability kill is making your Diamond Lance. Your knockout punch, hey, that makes a Diamond Lance. You throw your Diamond Lance at the floor, everything's frozen, now you can punch stuff again and get amplified with knockout. Once we made that switch, all of a sudden it clicked in players' heads. This loop becomes a lot more clear, and players were much more satisfied.
A lot more freedom. A lot more freedom.
At the end of the day, like, the chaos is the point.
Yeah. If you aren't surprised and delighted in a way that you didn't expect, like,
Yeah.
This strike is probably one of the coolest strikes that we've ever released.
I started my Destiny journey playing strikes. I really wanted to push the expectations of what a strike could potentially be. This strike, it's sort of a memory out of the Witness's history of its race and what its buildings may have looked like in the past. A lot of the inspiration comes from 30s pulp novels, adventure flicks, uncovering ancient, hidden cities that have not seen a living soul in eons. And then subsequently destroying those cities moments later.
Imagine you're in a narrow hallway. You need to escape it. Lava is descending. Obstacle is coming out of the walls. You made this slide towards the closing door and you're dead. The door just closed right in front of your face, so...
That happens a lot.
I have 7 Gilded Conqueror titles. I want this strike to be the hardest strike we ever made. I want people to scream and cry over this strike.
Oh no!
And just say, how do I complete this strike on Grandmaster difficulty? And I'll be like, yes.
That's kind of one of the fun parts about making a strike. There's so much freedom and creativity to do wild things, and then testing that. It's just a lot of fun, that back and forth.
We have a very tight relationship with Test as designers, and I couldn't do anything I do gameplay-wise without Test there at my side. But as soon as I can get fresh eyes on it, I think that's where it really comes in.
We ran a lot of play tests, and every time I would invite people, I'm like, this is final play test, but it's never final. We just can't stop.
It's really not just one department creating something special. When you see all those things combined in the iteration and the back and forth, and when you get to this end result where it just feels like it couldn't be any other way, we hit on something amazing here.
All right, dude. Guys, the most exciting part of everything, I mean, obviously, like, Prismatic is one of those things, like, we're just going to have to get in there and experience it for ourselves, right? I like that there's a lot of freedom, like what they mentioned about Proc and Diamond Lances, correct? And so they're releasing subclass-specific requirements and just spreading it out to just outright abilities, considering you're going to be using a variety of different abilities. They're going to have to do that, right? Or Prismatic, honestly, would be pretty dead. But this part right here, this portion of the Vidoc right here, where they go over this strike, man, what a cool looking strike here. I'm curious more about the lore, because it mentions about this is like what their architecture was like pre-consolidating into what they consolidated into. The other side of things is she mentioned that she's a Conqueror with Conqueror 7. So she's played a lot of GM Nightfalls, but she also mentions that this is going to be the hardest Nightfall, or that was the intentional goal there, is to make it the hardest Grandmaster experience. This scene right here where you're running, this makes me think of like a raid encounter. Look at that. You've got the lava coming in on you. You've got these different obstacles, and then something with the door closing at the end there. That's gonna be wild, man. I mean, that's like a raid mechanic versus a strike mechanic. You know what I mean? I'm gonna look at some of the weapons designs right here. I love this part right there where they mentioned that they're gonna give us the rest of the deck of cards. And it shows us, look at this. You see the inverse on either side of the weapon. The color changes there. By the way, let's go through some of these weapons right now. This is a hand cannon. What are we thinking archetype here, guys? What are we thinking? So this is going to be the 2-round burst. All right, let's keep going. Ooh, What is this, dude? Could it be? Someone just said it. It looks like the rocket sidearm. Do you think green is any indicator of its elemental type? Do you think this is showing that it's a Strand rocket sidearm that Bungie said, because we're supposed to be getting a rocket sidearm, a two more actually, supposed to be getting a solar one and a Strand one. So that's the sidearm. Looks like some of the weapons up close here. Let me come back to this. I don't know what each one of these weapons are. Machine gun, okay. Shotgun, fusion, okay. Sword, that's the hand cannon. That's the what you guys are projecting. You think it's going to be the Strand rocket sidearm, a sniper rifle. Dude, the color schemes here are amazing. I love that it has this inverse from one side to the other. That's amazing. As far as the supers itself, I love the halo effect here. They've added for Sunsinkers. Look how much it tracks though. It explodes. I mean, it cuts the clip off right here, but it literally goes 2-3 times. And it does 1, 2, and then it's coming out a third right now. Look, that's way stronger. The only thing Sunsinger and D1 has over Song of Flame is self-res. That's the only thing it has. Look at the regeneration there on the left too. That's pumping, man. Let's get here to the Titan real quick. Titan right here throws axes. Look right here though. Hold on. Looks like there's like a weakening effect. Because notice the damage number is yellow. You notice that? Look at that. So hold up. He's doing 63,469 damage. Let me just drop this down just a little bit. 63,469 plus 88,857. Then you pick up the axe again. Throws it again. I can't tell. I think 35,000 is there and 55,000 is in there. But it's still a chunky amount of damage outside of the super. All right, that looks juicy. Now moving on to the Arc Hunter here. I really love this too, by the way. I love that the axe is literally Arsenal shield, but chopped up, right? That's so cool, man. Dude, I think hunters are going to be so good. Maybe not in PvE. Maybe the super may not be that great in PvE, but I think in terms of PvP, look at that insta teleport. Boom. You're coming. How do you counter that? How do you counter this? What, are you going to shotgun him as he comes out of that? I got this in 0.5 right now. Guys across the map, throws a knife at you, immediately TPs, spins to win. Yeah, man, it looks good. It looks very, very fast. It looks to have a ginormous radius. I think it's going to be very strong in PvP. Yep, guys, it's more final shape stuff. We'll see what plays out. I'm excited. I have like a wish list on top of all this. It's just like, I hope Prismatic is potent. I hope it's not just a jack of all trades kind of thing. Like I hope it genuinely is like very, very potent. And I feel like it's gonna have to be, because it seems like it's gonna be an advanced class. I mean, it needs to be. I think that's probably my biggest concern. I feel like the exotics are gonna pop off just based on what we've seen. I think the new supers look really, really good too. So I'm more focused on Prismatic. How does Prismatic shake out? And is it going to be potent enough to make us, use it? And I guess this also really comes back to exotic class items. That right there is really going to be the biggest selling factor to Prismatic, is the ability to merge exotics.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.